may not be suitable for all audiences.
Roll it, boy!
Focus!
Down in front!
Art 101 with Mr. Berger.
Scholars, welcome back to Art 101 with me, Mr. Berger. I'm a professional artist and master educator, and I attempt to provide the best in our historical content. If you like the content, like, share, subscribe. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir!
So today I'm with Hank and Etta, and we're making some art projects. And one of the artists that I want to talk about today, as you know, because you clicked on the video, is Joseph Cornell, an artist that took all kinds of different things and combined them together to make some really, really cool art and some interesting statements. So why don't we jump on in right away and get into the 101 of Joseph Cornell. One of the great masters of art, the ingenuity behind the shadow box art type works, was the painfully shy artist Joseph Cornell. He was a lifelong New Yorker who saw his share of hard times. After high school, he helped his dad at his dry goods store, and after his passing, his mother moved to Queens, where she supported her 4 children, including a son with cerebral palsy. Although they struggled, Joseph Cornell was determined to get an education. With a little bit of training in Massachusetts, he began his work as a textile designer. He was beginning to spend his money that was coming in on the collections of small little unique things that gave him some little bit of amusement. His interesting sense of humor, which he was known for, all began with these little trinkets and collections. Eventually, he would amass a huge collection of comic books, movies, graphic artworks, souvenirs, photos, records, and a lot of other little stuff. By early on in the 1930s, he would become involved with the Surrealist art movement. It was at this time that he began to place some of these little collected items into the wooden boxes that were fitted with glass fronts. These works became known as assemblages. An assemblage is a 3-dimensional art form that involves combining found or purchased objects to create a sculpture or installation. Paper, cloth, wood, metal, shells, stones, and everyday objects can all be used in these types of works. They say that the beginning nugget of the assemblage was the brainchild of Pablo Picasso during his Cubist phase in 1912. However, the term assemblage would not come until much later, when it was coined by the French artist Jean Dubuffet in the 1950s.
I tell you what, we're going to take a pause. You know, we have to stop occasionally for a commercial.
You do.
You know we do. Then we're going to come back and we'll talk some more. Huh? Okay, you're fun. All right, we'll be right back. Stay where you are.
Scholars, are you familiar with Bow Ties of Vermont? If not, you need to go to the website and check out their huge supply of bow ties, neckties, pocket squares, and all kinds of formal accessories that you can use to dress up, add pattern to, add design to your wardrobe, whether that's, again, for the formal business professional, or it could just be to add a little fun and flair to the wardrobe, maybe for a formal wedding or prom type occasion, any kind of thing that you got going on where you need some exquisite, eye-catching formal wear for the neck, like the tie that I'm popping today. These are handcrafted right here in the United States, and they have been doing business since 1993, and they stand by their products. I highly recommend you going to the website and checking them out.
You are a beast.
Now, Joseph Cornell's assemblages were very unique to the things that he liked, as most artists would probably recognize. His assemblages revolved around the ideas of birds, travel, photography, music, art history, and a passion for astronomy. These intimate illustrations of his artifacts became his calling card. It has been claimed that he began his assemblage work to entertain his handicapped brother, who he was also helping care for. Joseph Cornell was a private man, refusing to collaborate with other artists and never exclusively showed his artwork with anyone or any art group or clique or collective of artists. Through Julian Levy, he would begin to show his artworks with the Surrealists in 1932, having been greatly influenced by the artist work of Max Ernst, Kurt Schwitters, and the always topical Marcel Duchamp, although he never directly worked with any one of them.
Kneel before your king.
Cornell was a multifaceted artist. He was a filmmaker. He was interested in film in terms of capturing his own films, hiring and having friends of his create videos that he could watch and rewatch with his brother.
Well, Cornell took a quite undistinguished 1931 Hollywood jungle film called East of Borneo, which he liked because he was particularly interested in the female lead, the actress Rose Hobart. Cornell took the 1931 East of Borneo and re-edited it. That is, he dissolved the narrative sequence. He removed the logical continuity from the film. So he's created a dream work out of what was a rather banal and laughable Hollywood jungle film. Jump cuts, sudden disappearances. He included one or two frames of titles from silent films, sometimes upside down, sometimes backwards. It took the interest in a certain kind of deliberate fracturing that was part of the avant-garde cinema of the late 50s and early 60s to be able to appreciate how startlingly original Cornell was and to completely liberate us from the notion that this was simply inept.
He would find old films and re-splice them together, re-editing these old films to create new surrealistic films.
One day he called me and he said, I'm Joseph Cornell, would you like to make a film with me? And I think I just said yes. So he picked the place and the time, which was the Union Square on a cold Saturday, December day, and we met there, and he brought 2 or 3 rolls of film, and I brought my trusty old Bolex camera. So after a while he said, well, let's warm up and go into the Stoner Chop and have a donut and the coffee. And we're sitting at the front at the counter. So he nudged me and says, do you see that girl in the back there? Isn't she beautiful? So I looked, and there wasn't really a very pretty girl there. And then we left. We went outside. And then Cornell said, I'd like you to do something for me. Take this package and give it to the owner of the coffee shop and tell him to give it to the girl. And then he had one of his very rare smiles and said, I'd like to see her face when she opens this up. Later, I found out this was the girl he was really in love with. And at that time, he hadn't even hardly talked to her. He just had seen her. But later he talked to her, and she came out and became kind of assistant in Flushing. And then later things went kind of bad. She stole a few boxes. He got the boxes back anyway, and he forgave her. It turned out she was also a drug addict of some kind and an aspiring young actress. Then there was a strange story that she got killed somewhere in Times Square. I was very upset, obviously, and he arranged for a funeral for her.
Always shy, always a family man, but never willing to approach a female just willy-nilly or even willingly. Side note, Joseph Cornell was known as a very avid people watcher, although he was also a man that enjoyed ornithology and expressed his love for birds in a couple of different series that focused on his belief that these creatures were beautiful, and for him they oftentimes represent freedom and the connective tissue between the heaven and earth.
They just had to see things from each other's perspective.
Joseph Cornell was very much known for his assemblage work. However, he was also very well known for his collage work. These were relatively small works that were put into the assemblage type boxes at times and sometimes just displayed, but these were created from cut apart and rearranged clippings. He would create a unique composition or sometimes put in a light fixture so that with the push of a button in the art museum they would illuminate in some sort of way. The public display of these works and his collective works is really how he became known in the art world, as he spent most of his life living as an isolated artist. And honestly, Joseph Cornell did not really know his popularity. When he passed from this earth in his home in Flushing, New York, he might not have really understood the impact that he had on others beyond his brother. But in some ways, maybe it doesn't really matter. He was the artist that was making art to entertain, make a little money, take care of his family, do the right thing, keep his head down, keep moving forward. And as people in a world where we get hooked into all kinds of unnecessary dramas, it's really nice to have an example of an artist that's just putting his head down, getting to work, and making some really, really cool stuff. I hope you enjoy that content as much as I love being able to bring it to you. From Hank and Etta, thank you very much for watching.